Hi everybody, my name is Kate Connolly. I'm an intuitive healer and teacher. And I wanted to talk to you today about intuition and ego. And they are mutually exclusive as far as I'm concerned. I think I've got that right. But when you are working from your knowing, from your inner peace, your inner guidance, your higher self, your intuition, however you want to call it, ego doesn't really factor in. And one of the most important things that I've been told about this, and it really feels true, is that when we come from that place, people around us are far less likely to jump into their ego as well. And what I mean by that is, if we're in a disagreement with our loved one, if we are having some concerns about our voice being heard, every time we are not talking from our feelings, from our knowing, and from our I am presence, we are coming from a place of ego. And ego is always about either winning or being the hardest done by. We are either going into absolute extreme victim, or we are going to do whatever it takes to win the argument. And both of those are really high ego states. And those ego states actually basically cause much bigger and much wider problems in our relationship. We always do that when we are feeling really triggered, and our biggest mistake that we make is to try and fight back with ego if our partner has come to us with theirs. So if they've basically tried to make a point by either gaslighting or pushing their point, or coming from a place of poor me, or I've got to beat you with my point, it's actually a really destructive place to live, and we do tend to cause a lot more trouble from that place. If, however, we're able to take a break and pause and think and feel our emotions and get really clear on what it is that's happening for us in that moment, and we choose to come from a place of action rather than reaction, we are pretty much always going to have a different response from our partner, which is far less likely to be throwing crap back at us. So I just want to encourage you, when you are, especially with your closest relationships, and especially if you're feeling really vulnerable, give yourself a moment to take a break and breathe and get aware of your feelings and get aware of why you're feeling those feelings. Sometimes I nail this and sometimes I really don't. But when I do nail it, I tend to find that situations basically get stumped out before they start. Whereas if I don't listen to myself and I jump straight into ego and I want to just really put my point across, these things can just blow out and last a really, really long time. And it can be really, really destructive for your relationship. So give it a go. Take a time out, see how you're feeling, and come back into your conversations so that you can actually move forward productively.